Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to clean a very dirty plush toy that you might have found at the thrift store slash op shop, and this is my way of doing it because I find it just makes them as good as new. Now what I do, I've got this girl here, decided she's going to be a girl. I took the stuffing out of her because she seems like a vintage toy, and a lot of vintage toys use like sweepings of the factory floor stuffing, so obviously you want to take that out. I recommend you know how to do a ladder stitch, or also known as a Jim Henson stitch. If you look that up on Google, it'll say how. But today I'm going to show you how to wash them. So she's obviously very grubby. Haven't figured out a name for her yet, but what I use is this Palmolive. Any would do, but I like this one because it fights germs on the sponge for 36 hours, and being OCD, literally diagnosed, not as a colloquial by the way, it's just really good. And I also use bicarb soda, just the stuff you use in regular cleaning or baking, not baking soda, not baking powder. Okay, I might have gotten the terminology wrong, but just stick with the words bicarb, so that'll work. So what I do is that I just do a drizzle. So I drizzle, and I recommend you do it in the bathroom sink, but my bathroom sink ain't working, is it? So cold water I recommend. Cold water is better because it doesn't melt any fibers. So what I do is I just do a little bit, drizzle. Also, if you're going to use a kitchen sink, be sure to wash it, disinfect it after, because, well, that's just, it's a bit unsanitary. So what I do is I sort of just act as a washing machine, pretty much, kind of just spin her around. And cold water works quite well, so I recommend that. Okay, that's enough. Now you'll see the water is very grubby. So what I do is I take it out, and then I'll refill it and just keep going until it's very decently clean. I'll get back to you once that's ready. Okay, once the water is a lot better, a lot cleaner looking, put a bit of this, put a bit of the Palmolive, put a bit of the bicarb soda, and use plenty of it, and just sort of massage it in. And the parts that were extra grubby, extra stinky, whatever, you don't always have to unstuff the plushie, by the way, but if you want it to dry quicker, yes, do it. If you want to avoid it getting grubbier when you wash it, because sometimes the ones with the grubby stuffing, the vintage ones especially, will just get grubbier if you wash them. So it's just best to take it out. So you just massage it in, and be generous. So, because you're going to be rinsing it out later. I don't recommend you use anything with alcohol in it. Isocol should be fine because I've never had a problem with that, but painted eyes will sometimes run, and her eyes are actually in pretty good quality, you know. A lot of people don't buy secondhand toys, so a lot of them end up in the trash. So if you wanna be like cheap with money, you know, I mean, save money, I mean, be environmentally friendly, do it this way. It's highly recommended. So once that's done, I'll just add a bit more of this. Once you've got all the parts that you think are the grubbiest gone and all that. Let it sit for like 30 minutes. Doesn't have to be any longer. I don't know what happens if you don't let it sit, but I just think it's a lot better if you do let it sit. Okay, now once those 30 minutes are up, you kind of just check all over the plushie, give it a bit of a massage as usual, make sure it's all fairly clean, and then you take the water out like I just did then, and you rinse him or her. Like that, and make sure you get all of that soap and bicarb out, because if it were to dry, the bicarb's still in it, it'll come out pretty, like, what's the word? Grainy with bits of like sand, white sands, just the, you know, then you'd have to wash it again or rinse it again, so you might as well do it very thoroughly now. And as you can see, she's already starting to look pretty good, actually, but she'll look even better once dry. So do that very thoroughly. Make sure another thing is you squeeze it and suds come out. Just keep going until there's not many suds. Now, after this, what you want to do is hang dry the plushie. It should take overnight to dry, depending on the size of it, the fabric, if there's sun or not. Or you can do it indoors, but never use a dryer, because that can ruin plush toys. Like, I wouldn't trust it. Unless the tag itself says, yes, you can dry them, but I don't know, I still wouldn't do that. I just hang dry them. Wait until tomorrow morning, you know, and it's totally fine. Sometimes even sooner. So, I think she's fairly clean now. You gotta check all over them. She had quite a few chunky stains, which obviously are gone. And like I said, remember to disinfect the sink afterwards if you're using the kitchen sink, because while I don't use it for food, I don't believe in putting raw chicken in the sink. That's kind of gross to begin with, in my opinion. You still should if you're going to use plates and stuff. You know, just to be sure, you know. Now, I have left her out to dry for overnight, and well, she is dry, obviously, she's good. She's perfect, but the feet are always going to dry last. They're still a bit damp, so what I do, if you want to do this method, I advise caution. Use a hairdryer, put her inside out, so plushie inside out, and then you dry them like that. And that way, it gets to the dampest parts, which are usually the inside of the plushie, and it doesn't tend to hurt the fur as much. I still would advise caution and just be careful, because it is like plastic fibers. Like, as you can see, these cheap plush toys, these aren't stains. For some reason, they get burnt in the factory. I don't know if it's a way of sealing them or not, but yeah, that's like an example of what it would look like if burnt. It just looks like a big stain. So yeah, hairdryer inside out and just sort of go like that. And it takes a while, so if you're lazy like me, you could just leave it out for a bit longer, or if you're too excited to meet your new plushie, then yeah, use this. And here's the final result. Daisy here looks pretty damn good, I reckon. She has no stains and no smells to her whatsoever. So yes, next time you're at a thrift store, try using this method. I mean, what have you got to lose other than a few dollars, you know? Thank you for watching, and I hope this video has helped you. Bye bye.